In this tutorial, we'll be mainly looking at default browser actions. So we'll be looking at prevent default action, and also we'll be looking at return false. So here I have my index.html file, and let's open it out in the browser. So let me do that. So we have it here. We have nothing as of now. I've just linked it with the CSS file which we have here, which we're not going to use anyway, and the JavaScript file here, which has nothing basically. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm just going to create a tag or a anchor tag, right? And I'm going to put in a link here. So let's put in the Google link. So let me just go here, click there, and then you can copy the link from google.com, right? So let's do that. So don't forget to put this https / otherwise it won't work. So inside that, let's put Google. All right, so let me just save this and we'll get that here, right? So if I click on this Google link, what happens? Your page automatically gets redirected to Google. But say you don't want that to happen, right? So then we can actually prevent the default action. So the default action here is to make the link work, basically this href work, right? So if you don't want that to happen for some reason, I'll show you different ways of doing it. So you can use the onClick property, and then you can just type in return false inside that, okay, inside the double quotes. So this is one way which works. Okay, so now if I actually refresh the screen and if I press google.com, see, it doesn't go there. And if I remove this, in that manner, and if I again refresh it, and if I do this, see, it goes to the google.com page, right? So that's how this works. There's one more way to actually do it. So you can again use the onClick, and inside that you can use the event dot prevent default. Okay, so that is the function that you can call. So it's a function, so you have to put the brackets also, and then once you again refresh it now and you press google.com, see, it doesn't go. See, one more place where this may be useful is maybe when you have a form tag and you have a submit button, right? And you have some input. So let's have an input there, a basic input. So let's call it text, and let's give it a name like maybe blah. So yeah, it can be anything, right? And then let's have a button inside it in that manner. Oh yeah, oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, and then we can have a submit thing inside it, right? So if I just refresh this for now, you'll get this and you'll get this. Now let's just make it full screen so that you see this whole thing. So now if I type in something like maybe wow inside this and submit, so you'll see that you get here blah equal to wow. So what is this blah exactly? So if you go to this index.html file, you will see that you have a name called blah. Okay, so whatever you input here in the text box is going to be equal to blah, right? So this is what is happening. Say you don't want this to come here. For example, you have a password and you don't want it to come here or something like that. So you want to prevent the default action, which is making it come here, right? So let me just delete it for now. Okay, and let's just refresh the screen. So this is going to refresh it. So you can use that again here. So just do onClick. Okay. There's one more way which I said in which you can use it. So let's use this way, which is return false. So yeah, that should be good. And if I save it and if I refresh it here, right? And now if I submit, okay, let me add something here. Maybe again, let me do wow, something like that. If I submit it, let's see what happens here. So you see, you get nothing. Okay, let me try again. So it prevents the default action. So in this manner, sometimes it may be useful and sometimes it may not be useful. So now let us look at how we can actually use it in the JavaScript file. Okay, so let me just remove this part from here and let's go here and do it here. Okay, so let's actually create an element. So this is a button, right? So let button equal to, so we're going to use the query selector. So document dot query selector. Basically why we use the query selector is to basically get the button element here, right? So let's just type in button here, right? That should be good. And then we'll just console.log the button just to see that we have done this thing right. So we don't want any errors, right? Just for the sake of it, let's do it. So now if I refresh the screen and I'll use Control Shift I, or you can right click and press inspect. So any of the way you will get this thing. So you can see that you have button on click return false. I think we had deleted that. So let's just save that here And if I refresh the screen again, so you'll just get button submit button. Let's add an event listener to this button. So button dot add event listener. So let's do that. And the first parameter, okay, if you don't remember, actually you can look at the notes in the previous classes. So we have done that many times, right? So let's see where we have done that. So we have click and a function there. Right? That's the idea here. So 2 parameters. Actually, you can have 3 parameters as we have talked about it. So let's use only 2 parameters for now because we are not dealing with the third options parameter. You can have function like that, and you can have brackets in this manner, or if you don't like to use this function, you can just delete that, and then you can use the arrow function. So doesn't matter anyway, right? And then here we can use the return false. So you can either type return false, or you can even do event dot prevent default. So now if you just remove the console thing here, okay, and if I refresh it again, and now you'll again see that if I do something here, submit, see, it doesn't come here. So if you like the content about this, and if you understood what I have talked about, don't forget to like, because it will help the YouTube channel grow in terms of the SEO and stuff like that. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you're not already subscribed. Thanks a lot.